How does France create so much space here? Just watch this. France overloads the left side of the pitch. Vertical passes through the center and the opposition stays compact. And suddenly, space opens up on the wing. This isn't luck. It's a tactical idea. And at the 2026 World Cup, every top nation will have its own. The FIFA World Cup 2026, the biggest stage in football, where the world's best teams will compete for the ultimate title. But while most fans focus on the goals, we will focus on something else, the tactics behind them. The systems, the philosophies, and the ideas that could decide who becomes world champion. These are the tactics of the World Cup 2026.
Obliged. Mbappe. Thuram. Mbappe. Oh, wow. Aimed in for Kurtza.
Let's start with Germany, the 2014 world champions. Germany's base formation is a classic 4-3-1, but once they have possession, it usually transforms into a 3-1-6. And Joshua Kimmich plays a crucial role in making that happen. Sometimes he drops into the back line. This allows Germany to occupy the last line with 6 players, making it almost impossible for the opposition to cover every passing lane. At the same time, every attacker occupies a defender and can pull them out of position, exactly like Mecha does here. That movement opens up space for the winger. This is one of the key ideas behind Germany's attacking structure. On the right side, Germany uses a lot of rotations whenever Kimmich pushes forward from fullback. The left winger then moves inside into the number 10 position, while Pavlovic drops deeper to maintain the structure. Because Germany keeps their wingers extremely wide, Schlotterbeck often looks for diagonal switches whenever the opposition becomes too compact. A single pass can suddenly move the entire attack to the opposite side and expose the spaces created by the opponent's narrow shape. But when Germany decides to play through the press with shorter passes, they use two central midfielders, creating a numerical advantage during the build-up. From there, Schlotterbeck will often play directly into central areas or overload the left side to exploit the advantage out wide. At times, Germany even commits 8 players forward while leaving only 2 center-backs behind as rest defense. With attackers occupying different heights and spaces, this creates chaos inside the opposition's defensive block and opens up new passing lanes. Germany then uses wall passes and third-man combinations to take advantage of that chaos and create dangerous chances. But this aggressive attacking approach is also their biggest weakness. Whenever Germany loses possession and immediately counterpresses, huge spaces can appear behind them. And against teams that transition quickly, or when Germany makes mistakes in possession, those spaces can be punished. As a result, Germany often concedes goals from fast counterattacks. Brazil under Carlo Ancelotti operates in a 4-3-1 system, but their structure changes quickly in possession. The fullbacks push up alongside the holding midfielders, while the striker and attacking midfielder drop deeper into the half spaces. As a result, Brazil forms a box midfield, creating a numerical advantage in central areas and overloading the center of the pitch. The deeper movements of the forwards create another problem for the opposition. Either the center-backs follow them out of the defensive line, or Brazil drops a winger and a striker into deeper positions. Both options create space, and that space is often reserved for one player in particular, Vinícius Jr. Once Brazil settles into their 4-2-2 structure, the movement becomes even harder to track. At times, the striker and winger will exchange positions through opposite movements. One drops short, the other attacks the space behind. And suddenly defenders are forced to make difficult decisions about who they should follow. Brazil can also be more flexible. Occasionally, they overload the last line by using an asymmetric right back. However, that's not their preferred approach. Most of the time, Brazil wants to create as much space as possible for their attacking players. Their main objective is simple: get their stars into 1-versus-1 situations with room to attack. That's why many of the surrounding players drop deeper and attract defenders away from dangerous areas. In this situation, the winger pulls the fullback out of position. As a result, the center back is forced to move into an uncomfortable area to cover the space. Small movement like this can completely change the shape of the defensive line and open new passing lanes. Defensively, Brazil usually operates in a 4-4-2 shape. They are relatively passive without the ball and often try to guide the opponent towards one side of the pitch. The goal is to lure them into a pressing trap before surrounding the winger with multiple defenders. And once Brazil wins possession, everything changes. With so many fast attackers, they can transition forward almost instantly. A single interception can become a dangerous counterattack. And within seconds, Brazil can create overloads and attack a defense that hasn't had time to recover. Another favorite for the World Cup is Spain, the European champion 2024. Officially, they usually line up in a 4-3-3. But once they gain possession, the fullbacks often move into central midfield, transforming the shape into a 2-3-5. And from there, Spain begins to control the game in a very different way. At times, Spain even attacks with 6 offensive players. The right back drops into a back 3, while the left back overlaps on the wing. This allows Spain to commit more players into advanced areas and occupy the penalty box with greater numbers. Spain's 2-3-5 can also be viewed as a 2-3-3. The goal is to create multiple layers between the lines and form constant passing triangles. This gives the player on the ball several options at all times and makes it much harder for the opposition to shut down passing lanes. From there, Spain can attack in different ways. Sometimes they use the width of the pitch and play direct balls from wide areas into the run of the striker. Other times, they patiently control possession through short passes, constant movement, and positional rotations. To create more space for their wingers, Spain often overloads the center of the pitch. They can play directly into the box midfield and combine through a third-man run, or a center back can carry the ball forward before finding the free player on the wing. This situation is a perfect example. The opposition is forced to crowd the center in order to protect the most dangerous spaces. As a result, the fullback is left with plenty of room on the left side. And that's exactly the space Spain wants to attack. Because 6 players are often attacking the last line, Spain delivers a large number of crosses into the box. During the build-up phase, Spain frequently involves the goalkeeper. The idea is to lure the opponent into a man-to-man press. If that happens, a long ball can create 1-versus-1 situations across the last line. But if the opponent stays in a zonal shape, Spain simply uses their extra player to play through the press and maintain control in their own third. One team that everyone should be keeping an eye on is Argentina. Under Lionel Scaloni, they line up in a 4-3-3 on paper, but in possession, that shape often transforms into a 3-5 or even a 3-1-6, with either Paredes or Molina dropping deeper. The 2 holding midfielders often position themselves very wide. This opens up passing lanes into the last line and makes it easier to progress the ball forward. Meanwhile, the attackers frequently drop out of the front line, receive the ball, and immediately lay it off before attacking the space that opens up behind them. A big reason why this works so well is Argentina's ability to overload one side of the pitch. Against teams that defend space rather than individuals, this creates a numerical advantage around the ball. Defenders on the far side often have no direct opponent to mark, making it difficult for the entire defensive structure to stay balanced. Argentina also likes to crowd the center with as many as 6 players. As a result, the wings are often left open. Those spaces are then attacked through deep runs from central areas. The ball is often played back into the cutback zone. This sequence is a perfect example. Argentina completely overloads the center of the pitch, forcing the opposition to defend in an extremely compact shape. Almada then makes a deep run from the center into the half space, and within seconds, a clear goal-scoring opportunity is created. During the build-up phase, Argentina starts from its 4-3-3 structure. At the same time, the midfield shifts towards the ball side to create a local overload. The ball is then played quickly into a dropping striker before being switched through the center towards the free side of the pitch. Because the opposition is busy pressing around the ball, defending the far side becomes extremely difficult. And once Argentina reaches that free space, they can attack immediately. If they lose possession, the response is just as aggressive. Through intense counterpressing, Argentina often wins the ball back within seconds and keeps the pressure on their opponents. France is another major contender for the World Cup. Their 4-3-1 is built around constant movement and rotations. The idea is often simple. Overload one side of the pitch, attract the opposition towards the ball, and then switch play to the free side where the fullback has already pushed forward. When France attacks high up the pitch, they overload the final third with multiple players. This creates a large number of passing options around the ball. At the same time, players constantly drop deeper before attacking the spaces opened up by the movements of their teammates. During deeper build-up phases, France often looks for the space behind the opposition's wingers. To make this possible, the wingers stay relatively narrow while the attacking midfielder attacks the open space. This allows France to commit 5 players against the last defensive line. Elisa plays a particularly important role in this system. He moves all over the pitch and is constantly looking to occupy the spaces that become available. That freedom makes France far less predictable and much more difficult to defend against. Once France loses possession, they immediately look to counterpress, and that can be incredibly dangerous. Opponents are often unorganized and positioned high up the pitch, creating large spaces for players like Mbappé to attack. When France establishes possession higher up the field, they once again try to pull the game towards one side. Goal is to keep the opposition as compact as possible. Passes into central areas force defenders to collapse towards the middle and protect the most dangerous spaces. And that's exactly when France strikes. As the defense becomes narrower and narrower, space begins to open up on the far side. France can then switch play quickly and attack an area that suddenly has far fewer defenders to deal with. But did you notice something? Despite all their differences, these teams are trying to solve the same problem. Every tactical system we've looked at is designed to create space against a deep defensive block. What used to be simple side-to-side possession has evolved into something far more dynamic. Constant rotations, positional interchanges, and movements designed to pull defenses apart. Interestingly, that's also how this season's Champions League winners played. And if PSG already found the answer, could it also be the key to winning the World Cup? Let's find out in this video.